Hey, how's it going guys? My name's Daniel, aka HashLips, and in today's update for the art generator code, I'm going to show you how you can take the HashLips art generator and create these loot-like images. We are going to have so much fun in this episode, so stick around, and at the very end I'm actually going to buy someone random's NFT, so that's going to be fun too. Let's jump into it. After this video and you really want to do this all from scratch, I highly recommend to go to my YouTube channel, HashLips NFT, and it's this one, so maybe drop a like, a comment and a subscribe, it would be awesome. And then you can go to my playlist and find the series where it says create 10,000 generative NFT artworks. This series over here is the one I'm busy with and I'm making the 8th video. This is just an update video, but not just. Because in this update, I'm going to show you how you can create loot-like images as well as pixelated images and a whole bunch of updates to the HashLips Art Engine. If you want to know where to find this all, you can go to hashlips.online, and then here's all of our social media in this triangle. I would recommend going and joining our Discord and our Telegram groups if you get stuck in any way. Let's go and jump to the GitHub repo to go and get the latest code. What you want to do now is go to the repository section and find the repo where it says HashLips Art Engine. Once you click on that, you can download the latest release over here. You can see that I reference a release in each video. And the reason why I do that is so that we keep to the code that's in the video. So if you see a video and you want to follow along, click on releases, and then you can download the release that's associated with that video. Along the way, we've made a bunch of updates, and in today's video, I'm going to discuss the pixelated images, the rendered text as images, commands, split fix, and faster renders. Let's get started by downloading the source code over there. Once you've downloaded, take it somewhere. I'm going to place it on my desktop. I'm going to extract the folder, and then I'm going to open it in my IDE, and I'm using Visual Studio Code. Go and download it and give it a try. What you can also do is you have to have node.js installed on your machine. Please watch the previous videos so that you have the correct setup. Anyway, I'm going to go and say File, Open, and then I'm going to go and open it up where I've just extracted it. I'm going to open that whole folder in Visual Studio Code. Next, I can go and focus on the source file. In the source folder, there's a file called config.js, and this is where our journey is going to start. The config.js file is your control panel, and this is where we do the settings before we go ahead and render our collection. Now, I want you to go to the terminal tab up here at the top and then select a new terminal. This will bring up a terminal like this, and we can now go ahead and install the dependencies by running npm install and hitting enter. This will go ahead and install all the node modules that we'll need to run the program. While this is installing, make sure that you have your layers set up. You can see on the left hand side I've got a folder, and inside this folder there's a bunch of other folders. Now each one of these folders names are very important, and you have to have the spelling correct on them on these layer orders over here. The files inside of these folders are your attributes. These are possible layers that can be selected. So here you can see is a bunch of dots, which is actually eye colors. Then we've got an eyeball and an eyeball red. We've got some irises over here. And if you take a look at this, this creates an eyeball. Now, you have to split your layers up like these, as well as add a hashtag with a number for a rarity weight. Now, one of the updates in this version is if we don't have a hashtag with a rarity weight, it will automatically assign it a 1. So just keep that in mind. That is due to the split error that everyone was getting, and someone was nice enough to make a pull request, and we've updated that so that you don't get that error anymore. But that doesn't mean that the rarity weights don't work on it. Like I said, If you don't specify one, it's the same as saying hashtag 1, which will give it a very low rarity weight. That being said, that's all you need for your layer configurations. And like I said, just to make sure that they are all spelled correctly in here corresponding to each layer, and then also having the order in the order you want it to start rendering. First background, eye color, and so on. The grow edition size 2 is how many items you're going to render. If I wanted to render a collection of 20 NFTs, usually it's a lot more, but let's say 20. I can specify 20 over there. And if I wanted some change in my layer orders or add maybe new layers, I can simply copy this whole object, paste it down here, make this, leave this at 20, make this one 10, meaning that 10 of these will be rendered and then 10 of these. But in this case, I can maybe change the layer order, take some away, whatever I want to do. It will still render fine. I'm going to work with one layer order configuration in this example, and we are going to render 10 NFTs each time. The layer configurations is the gist of it. If you want an in-depth explanation, like I said, watch the whole series and the playlist and you would absolutely love it, I promise you. Let's go and take a look at all the updates of version 1.0.7. The first update that I want to have a look at is the utils folder. I've made some updates to the file names, giving them much better names, as well as adding commands for you to easily run your collection. Notice that currently we haven't created anything. We have our layers, we have our config set up with the layer orders, and now we have installed our node modules, and now we can render our collection. I'm going to press Command K to clear out my terminal, and then I'm going to run the command to generate NFTs. The command that you can run now is npm run generate, like so. If you run npm run generate, what will happen is it will build up those layers. It takes a minute or a second the first time you do it, but once it's loaded all those layers, it's extremely fast. That's also an update that's been made in this edition series, because the way that we look at arrays, we are using now sets instead of arrays for the DNA strings over here. But as you can see now, there's been 10 images created. So you can see there's a new build folder up here at the top. And there you can see here's all the images. How cool is that? You can also see that the corresponding JSON has been rendered for each image which is needed for the NFT creation process. Next, let's take a look at the next utility and how you can run it. Well, I can press Command K again to clear the terminal, or you don't have to clear it every time. The next utility I want to look at is the preview image. All you have to do to run that now is simply run npm run, and instead of generate, you run preview. So that's how easy it is. It's already created, and now you can see there's a preview.png here at the top left corner. The next command that we can run is the update info command. Now the update info command was used to update the base URI as well as now the description as well. So let's say you made a mistake in your description. If you change this and you change your base URI, both of them will update to the latest configuration in the config.js file. Let me explain this by doing a small example. I'm going to open one of my images metadata, and I can see that this image URI says new image URI to replace, and this says also this description needs to be replaced, right? Well, let's go to the config.js, and I'm just going to maybe take everything away and just leave this, and this one I'm going to put a bunch of 3s, like so. I'm going to save this, and at the bottom of my terminal, I'm going to run npm run update info, like so. Once you run that, you can see that it's now updated your URI as well as your description. So in your metadata, this will have the corresponding metadata for your IPFS or your image URL, as well as your description. And that's how nice these commands are. The next command that you can run that will help you out tremendously to just figure out how your collection is structured. After you've generated your collection, you can run npm run, and it is rarity. So once you run that, you'll see that in the terminal down here, you'll get the rarity and the kind of percentages that those attributes pop up in your metadata. It is important to note that you need a lot of images for this to kind of be close to truth, right? If you don't have a lot, then not all of the images have those attributes. It just makes sense. The last update is super cool, and that is actually to do with a big update to this version. The next command is such a cool update that I have to get excited about it. Let's say you've generated your collection and there are all your images, okay? And you want to do something special. You don't want a normal collection and you feel like you want a pixelated collection. Well, all you have to do now is basically run in the terminal down here, npm run pixelate. And if you run pixelate, there you go, you get an extra folder and each one of these images are now pixelated. How cool is that? It creates exactly the same as what's in this folder, so it doesn't remove this folder, and you can only do this after you've generated your collection. But how cool is that? If you want to set the size of the pixels, you can go to the config.js, then scroll down to where it says pixel format. The lower this version, the bigger the pixels. So if we had this at 10, we saved it, and in the terminal we ran that command again. By the way, you can press the up arrow to get to the previous command you ran and press enter. You'll see that now the pixels are a lot smaller and you get more detail. You can even go hectic with this and maybe make this 1 and save it, and in the terminal run it again, and you can see that it's really pixelated now. But the possibilities are endless and it's up to you to explore. This is an extra feature that this art generator, allows you to explore with, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. And now, drum roll please, because this is the part where I show you how you can take these images and turn them into loot-like images. You're going to have to regenerate your collection to do this, and let me show you how you can start. It's very simple, and all you need to do is scroll down in your configuration file and find the place where it says text. If you turn this text only to true, you'll see something amazing happening with your collection. So turn this to true and then rerun your collection by running generate. So let's find generate, like there. Let's go. When you generate these images and you open the images folder, you will see that you now have text with a colored background. If you don't want this colored background, you can simply go to the config.js file again, scroll down to the background, and keep generate to true because you want it to generate. If you turn generate to false, I'll just show you what happens. You'll get PNG images which has a transparent background. But you can go and turn on static to true, and this will take the default color, which is black. So if you run it again, you'll see that you now get exactly loot-like images. Let's just make sure that works. Static is true and generate should be true as well. So if you run it again, then you'll see they are black images. And how cool is this? I think this is pretty insane. Well, what we can do as well is play around with the text, and I'll leave this up to you. But basically here you get to play around with the size. So maybe let's make the size bigger. Let's make it 40. Let's run it and see the output. You can see the output is a bit big for this screen size, so let's keep it at 20. However, you can also make it smaller, like 10. You can make the gap in the Y, which is the vertical gap, maybe 60. And then we can also maybe align this to the center. So let's go and align this to center. So alignment center instead of left. And for the gap in the X, we are going to take this format, right? So we're going to say format.width divided by 2. This will center our images. So if I render this again, I can see that I've got centered text, basically centered text in the middle of the screen. But go ahead and play around with this. This is how you can create these loot-like images, and it's pretty cool. I'm going to leave this as the default because I like the way that it's sitting here on the left-hand side. It really gives this loot-like feel. I'm also going to turn this to true. And yeah, I think this is brilliant. If you want to take this a step further, you can even go and pixelate them all by running the ArtGenerate Pixelate, and then we can go ahead and pixelate all of our images, which truly doesn't look good because the pixelation is set very low. So let's make it maybe pixelation of 20, do it again, and now you get these pixelated ones, which absolutely looks crazy interesting. But that being said, I think you get the gist of it. This is amazing, and it just allows for further exploration. The quick last update that I want to show you is very cool. Let's quickly undo what we've done and turn the text to false again, because I want my normal images to be rendered. There we go. I'm also going to generate, and then I want to pixelate them again. That's just so that I can make my thumbnail in just a second. But apart from that, if you go to the layer order object, and let's select this eye color, can now take an option. So if you say options and you open up a new object, so it has to look like this, where you open up a new object in there, you got 3 different options that you can put in any of these layers. The first one that we've talked about is the blend. And if you put a blend on this object, you can make use of this mode where it specifies basically different modes that you can select. To see the modes that you can add to a layer, you can go to the constants file over here and then select one of these. I'm going to try and select the color burn. So what you can do is just say mode.colorburn. And that's it. If we run our collection now, you'll see that my images, especially when it comes to the eye colors, they have color burn on it. You can see that it's pink over there, but it starts going white, meaning that it's different blending modes on your layers. And you can do this to any layer. So you can also put an options object on maybe the bottom lid over here, like so, which is also going to be color burn. You can play around with different blending modes, but basically you can see how your images change. Now this allows for a lot of creativeness, but this is not the point that I'm showing you these options. I'm going to take this out for a second, or let me take this out for just a sec. I want to show you the 2 other options that you get. I'm going to stick with the eye color, but keep in mind you can do this to any other layer. You also have an opacity. And you can make this, let's do this 0.5. If you put a opacity on your layers or on eye colors, whatever your layer is, you can see that it applies that opacity. So now we don't get these sharp colors, and I think it would be more apparent if I actually put this on the bottom or the top lid, so you can really see those opacities happening. I can even take off the blending mode and just leave the opacity and then have a look at what gets rendered. So now we can see that the top lid is half opaque, and it's pretty cool. You can specify any value from 0 to 1. I'm going to take this off again, and then what I want to do is just organize this. I really try and always do my best by organizing the code, and so should you. When you have organized code, you just feel better, it looks better, and you are much more productive when developing new features. The last option that we get is pretty cool. Let's say I did not want to use my names from my folders over here, or my layer folders over here. It still has to have the exact same spelling here that your folder names have in the layers folder. The reason for that is the program needs to pick these folders up and get the contents inside. But these actually gets transferred over to your JSON files and becomes your trait names. So there you can see we have eye color. But let's say I didn't want eye color to be eye color, and instead I wanted to say awesome color or awesome eye color. Well, to any of these layers you can add this options object and also add the display name, like so. With the display name, I can now say, well, I want this to be the awesome. I'm just going to make it awesome eye color, like so. Once I've done this, the program will pick this up and it will actually go and generate your metadata differently. So if we look at the metadata traits now, you can see that our trait for eye color is awesome eye color. It still takes the image file name for the value, but at least this gives you a bit more freedom when it comes to the trait name. I hope you guys enjoyed this update for version 1.0.7. And now I have something special up in my sleeve. I'm going to go ahead and buy a community member's NFT, so stick around for that. Recently on Twitter, I made a post to say, let's go and buy one of the community members' NFTs. I asked everyone to go ahead and go and retweet and leave their NFTs in this comment on this tweet. I was astounded with the feedback that you guys gave me, and now I'm going to go ahead and pick one. I went through these just a half an hour ago, and I actually have an idea of which one I want to buy. Now, I just want to say thank you, first of all, for everyone who sent me the NFTs. I realized there's a lot of demand for this, and I would definitely be doing this a lot more. There's even someone who made a Rushrooms profile pic. That's pretty cool. But what I want to say is that I will be doing this more, because I'm not going to buy 70 NFTs tonight, but I'll definitely go ahead and buy some more throughout my journey on YouTube. So please, if I have more of these competitions, go ahead and drop your collection in these tweets. I will definitely only consider people who drop theirs in these tweets, and not choose people that just message me privately, to keep it fair. So I'm definitely going to choose someone now, and let's see which NFT I'm going to buy. So like I said, thank you so much for all the subscriptions, and I actually made my decision, and I'm going to mint a few. Now the reason for that is because as I looked through these collections, I saw that the people actually making these collections was using their HashLips Art Engine as well as the minting dApp. And for that reason, I got excited, and I have to go and participate in your collections. So the first collection is the Zombies, and this collection is not revealed yet. I see this artist is going to reveal it the 20th of October. And when I went to the actual website, I realized this is now in Matic, right? And also this person is using the minting dApp that we've created. So I'm very excited. I'm going to connect my wallet, and I'm very excited to actually see this work. And we're going to go ahead and buy one. So thank you so much to the Zombie creators. This looks very cool. I'm going to go ahead and mint one. And thank you so much for my first Zombie. I cannot wait for the reveal to see which one I got. And there we go. It's minted and it's on OpenSea. We'll check them out afterwards. The second collection that I really liked was this Busted 3D Bust Statues. Now the reason why is the creator of this collection has put in so much detail and effort into each and every one of these statues. And another reason is, coincidentally, when I went to their sites, I saw that they were using the very first minter that we put out to help communities mint and build up their own collections. I also see that there's only 200, so I'm going to go ahead and actually buy 2 of these statues. And I think these are very cool. I cannot wait to see which ones we get. And I think these ones reveal on the fly. So I will stay with this video and show you actually what we got. I think that's actually pretty cool. Then you guys can also get the feeling of seeing what we get. Now I see this is successful. I'm going to buy another one. Like I said, I really like this collection. And there we go. And there we have it, our very first few mints on the videos. Now I will keep my eye out on that Twitter post and go and mint as soon as I love something. So yes, we will continue with our minting journey. By the way, if you guys want to see more of HashLips content, go to our social media pages over there. And as always, guys, thank you so much for the community. You guys are amazing. Please leave a comment in the description what you would like to see happen next with the art generative program, as well as the tutorials that you would like to see. We are working on all the suggestions, so please stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video.